Dear audience, at first, take my salam. Assalamu alaikum. I am the Mahmudullah Sandil, but you can call me with my nickname, Dasdil. I am in grade 10, student of Gafgar Islamic Government High School. And today I am going to read a newspaper that I bought at 17 April 2025. And now I am free. So when I am free, in the free time, I try to practice English, just like usual. And I am at our English speaking zone, conducted by our teacher, MD Majmul Islam. So let's start reading the newspaper, Daily Observer. So I want to read the newspaper's editorial page today. My sister has written an article in it. You can say on the third or fourth page, you can see this that kids increasingly feel lonely in a connected world, written by Majid Junki. Yes. The topic is kids increasingly feel lonely in a connected world. Let's start. In a child's world, no presence is more significant than that of their parents. After them is the siblings, grandparents, and extended family who shape the emotional and moral foundation of a child's growth. But in today's hyper-connected world, a disturbing trend is silently emerging. Parents are spending more time on virtual platforms than with their own children. This growing disconnect is impacting children in deeply alarming ways. As parents sink deeper into their digital worlds, children are left feeling invisible and undervalued. In response, they too be forming stronger connections with the virtual realm. With their own families. The result, raising cases of depression, anxiety, and psychological disorders among children and adults. Many of them develop harmful behavioral patterns, or fall into dangerous peer groups, often leading to self-destruction, discussion, including suicidal tendencies. Neglect and emotional detachment from parents are slowly but surely pushing children towards a bleak future. Deprived of meaningful family interactions, children are turning to strangers online in search of attention and affirmation. These strangers, often masked by false representations, encouraging behaviors that can be self-destructive, disguised as fun, freedom, or expressions, caught in a cycle of loneliness and neglect. Many young people today are depressed. Many young people today are desperate to be seen. Their cries for help often go unnoticed as parents remain absorbed in social media, digital gossip, and endless scrolling. Two real-life stories illustrate in this growing crisis. So I have read the article about what's happening to our children, to our brothers and sisters who don't get such time when they're feeling lonely. But I think the most of the time the parents should pay to their children, not in their jobs and others. Case number 1. The lonely genius Nazia, a brilliant 9th grader once known for her smile and sharp mind, is now battling a deep psychological syndrome. She blames herself for everything and is consumed by guilt and anxiety. Despite her emotional turmoil, her family has failed to notice. Her mother, a busy government employee, and her elder brother, an underage student. Both spend their free time chatting online instead of connecting with each other. Feeling unseen and uncared for, Nazia has spiraled into chronic depression with no intervention from her family. So, my dear friends, I have said a case which is about a girl whose name is Nazia. He was a brilliant ninth grader, but after some times he is battling from now deep psychological syndrome, and her mother, who is a very busy government employee, don't have the time to pay to her children, and also his brother don't even communicate with each other. They just chat or watch reels. So now let's move on to the case number 2. Case number 2: a teenager lost to the digital abyss. Tawhid, an 11th grader student, lives with his mother and little sister while his father works abroad. His mother, though physically present, is often mentally absent, glued to her phone. From a young age, Tawhid became addicted to online games, which led him to a group of virtual friends. Together, they found a teen gang involving in serious criminal activities like drug use, cyberbullying, and disturbing explicit content through AI-generated fake videos. His fall into crime could have been prevented with just a little parental supervision and care. They are not isolated incidents. Hundreds of Nazia and Tawhids are slipping through the cracks every day. The root cause: a lack of real attention from the parents, who are often too consumed by the virtual world themselves. So the thing is, my dear viewers who are watching it, not only the children, but also our parents are consuming content, explicit content or something like that, scrolling to internet and etc. So they are on the wrong hand too. So now let's move on to our last passage. Let's carry on. The family's responsibility. Parents are a child's first teacher and primary caregivers. Absolutely right. Their influence is powerful and it can make or break a child's life. Instead of constantly competing to make their children number one, families should teach them about cooperation, empathy, and self-worth. Children should grow up knowing they are valued not for how well they perform in school, but for who they are. Fathers, in particular, must step up to share quality time and bond with their children. Both parents must understand that kids learn by examples. When they see their parents endlessly glued to device, they normalize the behavior. This digital detachment then passes from one generation to the next generation. Families must also explain not only the right path but also the wrong ones. Children must understand the consequences of their actions. Parents should actively guide their children to become informed, responsible citizens with strong values. Let us not raise a generational addiction to validation from virtual strangers. let us let us raise children who feel loved, seen, and supported by their own families. A child who grows up with attention, care, and emotional security can go on to achieve greatness for themselves, for their families, and for the nation. It all starts with how much time we are willing to give them in real life, not on a screen. The writer is a student at Gopgaon Mohila College in Mymensingh. Yes, as I said before, when I started reading it, I have mentioned that the writer, Mehajami Chunki, she is my sister. So for her, what do you say? So she said to me to read it. So I bought and read it, and it was a nice presentation nice writing about why the children are deeply into mobile and watching reels or playing games and etc. So as I studied the first case, I can resonate many of my classmates or my younger brothers and sisters. The first case was about Nazia, who is doing ninth grader, but now is suffering from deeply psychological syndrome, and she blames herself for everything. And you know, when you are in teenage age, when you're a teenager, there are lots of different things happening to you, and sometimes you can fall into the wrong path. But the thing is, if you're the closest person, like the family members, who are your first teacher and primary caregivers, don't give much time to you, then I don't know how can you be saved. And in this article, it is included, in particular, fathers, yes, must step up to share quality times and bond with their children. So I think it's absolutely true that we imitate what we see. Our brain is like a sponge. When we were old, when we were younger, I remember when I was 1 year old, I couldn't even walk. It took a lot of years than usual other children to walk, but I took so much time. I think after 2 or 3 years, I was able to walk. So it was a very happy thing for me, because I have seen how to walk, how my mother walked, how my parents, my father and other people walk, and my brain was like a sponge that day, and that time, and I absorbed all the things into my mind, how to do that, and by imitating, by watching others how to do and how to develop, I am able to develop also. So okay, so that was a nice time with you, my dear friends. Truly speaking, it was a nice moment. I think it's all for the time being. Thank you everyone. Allah Hafiz.